In this segment, we'll look a little bit as to what actually occurs once you have your patent or your trademark in hand. So you have your patent, you have your trademark, and often people say, well, isn't that wonderful? This proves that I am the inventor, or this proves that I am the owner of the mark. And to a certain extent it does. But a patent and trademark often gives you a right to do one thing, and that is a right to sue. Because yes, you could go to somebody and you could go to another company that's potentially infringing your mark or your invention, and you can say, look, I have a patent or I have a trademark and you cannot use it. And then at that point, the question is, well, what can they do? Because the person that's infringing or the company that's potentially infringing can say, who cares? Yes, I may be infringing, but who cares? And your options at that point are, can you actually enforce it yourself? And the answer is no. You cannot. You cannot self-help or self-defend your rights. You actually have to go to court for a court of law to say, you know what, you are the lawful owner, and based off of the evidence that is presented, you are entitled to a recovery. So it gives you a right to sue. And a lot of individuals do not realize that that is really the fundamental right that is being given here. A right to be able to sue in a court of law for ownership rights. With that context in place, I know that a lot of people sometimes say, well, I'm not interested in suing. I just want to be able to get rights to whatever it is that I do. And the answer to that is, well, we understand that correctly. I don't like to go suing either. But the reality is that we have to understand that this fundamentally gives you a right to sue. And if you are of the character or nature that you don't even want to go to court, that you don't even want to actually have rights that would give you the right to sue, then maybe in fact patent or trademark protection is not for you. Because if you want to be able to enforce your rights, you will need to go to court. Now, in actually going to court, it is not cheap. So I have the first figure that gives you a look as to normal patent-related infringement costs. So you can see there, and this is a little bit dated, I think it's from 2011 time frame, but you can see that at a minimum, if less than 1 million is at risk, if you go all the way through discovery, that there may be, more than $650,000, so that's 65% of any potential damages is going directly towards litigation costs. And if we have more than 25 million at risk, so as far as potential damages, about 5 million of that is going towards legal costs as well. So roughly, if it's under $1 million, if the damages are under $1 million, you're looking at 65% of any recovery going just towards legal costs. And if it's over $25 million, as far as potential damages, you're looking in the range of maybe about a fifth of that going towards legal costs as well. In short, it's very expensive. Whether you're paying 20% or 25% or even all the way up to 50-60%, it's extremely expensive to actually go through the entire litigation type process. So if there's one takeaway that I want you to come away with, it's simply the litigation is very expensive. On the trademark side, you can see the cumulative expense. The nice part is it's usually less expensive than the patent side. So you may be looking in the range of $250,000 to actually litigate on a trademark. Sometimes some indicate that that is in part due to the complexity of what is being litigated. Trademarks generally are a little bit more simple than patents. Patents usually are more drawn out. There's multiple stages within a patent type trial. You have a Markman hearing. Discovery is usually a little bit more intense. So in short, all that intensity and complexity adds to the price as well. On the trademark side, generally speaking, it's a little bit more straightforward, which also helps to bring down the cost a little bit. Now, I have a section within the book that talks about patent claiming perspectives. I would note that this actually is not just limited to patent claiming. That yes, we must have some Rule 11 basis, Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, we must have some legal basis to be able to assert on the patent side. But in much the same way, even on the trademark side, there must still also be a legal basis. And that legal basis is often shown through some type of comparison of here's my mark, here's what they are showing, here's my word, here is what it is they are using. And so, in short, the fundamental conclusion of what's going on here is simply a comparison. These are my rights, this is my protected mark or invention, and this is how it's being used. And so what you're doing is comparing and showing that before the court to make it as easy before them as possible to show you have a solid basis for actually defending your rights. Because if you simply are just sua sponte, going ahead and suing people all over the country, and you don't really have a legal basis for it, that's when legal fees actually could potentially be allocated against you, where now you are must pay for legal fees for anybody that is defending themselves against any of your allegations. You don't want to go down that route. Even in today's market nowadays, under what they call Section 285, attorney costs can be levied to the other side for, quote, exceptional cases. So in short, you want to make sure you do your due diligence, that you really have a very solid basis to actually bring in a case before a federal court of law. These preliminary charts, again, would allow you to show that there was some basis for actually bringing the suit before the court. But again, I would indicate that the same would apply even on the trademark side. In short, it's a comparison between your protective rights and what is actually being potentially infringed here.